6 o'clock, so I'd like to call the Stanley County Board of Commissioners regular meeting, November the 4th, 2024, to order. And do thank the ones that are here, and we appreciate you being here. If you're watching on YouTube, invite you to come in person sometime. If not, continue to watch it on YouTube. At this time, I would like to recognize Commissioner Patty Crump, who's going to do an invocation and pledge of allegiance. Patty.
Please bow your heads. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for your goodness and for your guidance. Please be with us tonight as we make important decisions for our county, and thank you for the opportunity we have to serve in local government and as citizens to vote for the leaders we want. We are on the eve of, in my opinion, the most important election of our time, and Lord, I ask for your divine presence to pierce the hearts of your people. I pray your people are brave. I pray they are hopeful enough and motivated enough to cast their votes. Lord, let no weapon formed against this election prosper. I pray for election integrity. I pray your will be done. I pray for safety over the American people. I pray for peace and unity among all of us, no matter the side we stand. Lord, you are the God of miracles. Please part the waters for us and make a way for the leaders you choose to raise up and lead this nation, and let your goodness prevail. In the name of your Son, Jesus, amen. Please stand and join us with the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Crump. I'd like for everybody to look over the agenda, and if there's any adjustments or changes, please let me know. If not, I would seek a motion for the agenda to be approved.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Commissioner Eford.
I'll make a motion that the agenda be approved as presented.
Okay, a motion, agenda approved as presented. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Hatley. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay, public comments. No one has signed up for public comments. So we'll move to item number 2, and that's the fiscal year 23-24 audit presentation. Presenter is Mr. Alan Thompson, partner with Thompson, Price, Scott, Adams and Company, PA. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to all of you. I don't know that my stuff is working here, so hopefully you have a copy of your presentation summary, which is what I'm going to jump from. And on page 1, let me back up and say this. The main thing you hire us as an independent audit firm to do is issue an opinion on the financial statements as a whole. We issued unmodified report, which is a quote-unquote clean report, so congratulations on that. On page 1, under qualitative aspects of accounting practices, there's 3 paragraphs under that which talk about appropriate accounting policies, accounting estimates, and disclosures in the financial statements, and we were fine with all of those. There were no difficulties encountered in performing the audit. And then on page 2, there were no uncorrected misstatements, no disagreements with management. Management did provide us with a representation letter dated October 25th. We're unaware that management consulted the outside accountants, auditors, etc. 2 or 3 items for note that we've talked with management about. Just double check all the credit balances in accounts receivable, make sure all those are appropriately taken care of. Make sure you track the leases and the SPITAs, both of which are new pronouncements that in your management of the county's finances, you will probably not see any of that because it's on government-wide financial statements and it doesn't impact the fund balance financial statements. If I sound like I have an attitude about those 2 standards, it's only because I do, so forgive me. There were a couple technical issues in Medicaid, but no question cost, and they're in the audit report, but it's only technical things and not cost. On page 4, of the numbers, what we attempt to do, and I'm not saying we get 100% of all the key numbers, but pull out some of the key numbers in the audit report and put it in this first column for the current year, and then put the 4 previous years beside it so that you get a feel for any trends that are going on, and it's not just a number in space, if you will. You can see total fund balance there in your general fund is $60,430,000. And if you were to go back to June 30, 2020, you'd see that number is $30,761,000, almost double over that period of time. Unavailable fund balance at $9.9 million, restricted and committed at $13.6. General fund expenditures total would be $92.9, and then fund balance available as a percentage is 54.27%. Then revenues over and expenses before transfers. The general fund had a positive $4.8 million. The Greater Baden Water had a minus $77,000. West Stanley was minus $426,000. The Stanley County Utility Fund was minus $25,000. Piney Point was a minus $35,000. The Airport Fund was up $328,000. I'm not going to read those depreciation numbers. You can see them for all 5 years they're presented. You can see total fixed assets there in the utility funds at $64.6 million with accumulated depreciation of $31.5. And realize this is total for all the utility funds, because there's going to be a comment at the very end that I'll talk about regarding fixed assets and accumulated depreciation. You can see cash there in your general fund at $54.3 million. Again, if you go back to 2020, it's $28.2 million. And then I'm not going to read every one of those cash items. Got a big project going on in the airport, and that's why cash is so high in that specific item there. And then you see the fund balance of each particular fund there. And the same thing would hold true there. Airport's fund balance continues to rise because of some grants and other projects you've got going on there. On page 5, property tax rates, collection percentages, and collection percentage excluding motor vehicles, your total valuation and levy amounts. So those first 5 items there for all 5 years presented, with collection percentages being 98.44%. And then you can see your debt there, total debt being $38.1 million. You go back 5 years, it's 26.5. You had a couple of big items. One was community college, I think, that you funded. Then you see a breakdown by department of your general fund revenues and expenditures. And you can see general fund revenues going from $69 million to $94 million, and expenditures going from $68 to $89 million. And the expenditures, realized when we looked at the fund balance available as a percentage on that first page, on page 4, even though your fund balance is growing, that fund balance available percentage is directly impacted by the growth of your general fund expenditures. So even though your fund balance is going up, if your general fund expenditures are going up, that percentage is not going to change at a significant rate. Then on page 6, you can see that positive trend we talked about in blue on the total fund balance, the unavailable fund balance, and then on the bottom, you see that the fund balance available as a percentage, there at 54.27, it was 35.27, and you can see the group weighted average. For the last year available, you're still above that group weighted average. And then on page 7, you see the cash balances and the fund balances there in pie charts, with the total right underneath that, and total cash being $111 million and total fund balances being $117 million. On page 8, you see collection percentages for both the county and the group weighted average, with the county for the last 2 years where there's a group weighted average number out there above that group weighted average number, which is very positive. And on the bottom, you see the debt analysis with the government debt in blue and the business type debt in red. On page 9, you see where total revenue there broken out in a pie chart with ad valorem taxes which is why we listed, I think, on page 5, all those items about collection percentage, the valuation, the levy, et cetera, because it's such a big part of the overall general fund revenue at 46%, your local option at 21%. On page 10, you can see the 3 big items are education, public safety, and human services in the pie chart. On page 11, these first 3 items really, that are here are items I'm required to talk to you because the Local Government Commission says that these are financial performance indicators of concern. So used to, if you've been on the board for a while, you got this little, they called them unit letters to the whole board, then you had to read it and respond back to it. Instead of sending out a unit letter, they sent it to me and say, put this in your audit presentation. So the same scenario, and they do want you to respond. The first one is talking about, I think it's West, if I'm not mistaken, in your proprietary funds, and they're saying it's not a standalone profitable fund, and they want you to address that as you go into next year's budget. The second item, when I mentioned earlier that I was going to talk to you about total fixed assets and accumulated depreciation, when your accumulated depreciation in a specific fund gets above 50%, then they want you to, it's a financial performance indicator of concern. Just be aware of it. If you got a 40-year line out there, basically this item would be in here once you got over 21 years. So if you got 19 years of life left, they're just saying at some point you got to plan about it. So just be aware of that fact. And then this prior period adjustment, it's the same thing that I mentioned I had an attitude about earlier, which is the lease and the SPITA getting those correct. And the only reason I say that, so you know I don't have an attitude about everything, is you don't guide your planning by either one of those items. You go by managing all of your finances on a fund basis and a budget basis. These are on exhibits 1 and 2 in the financial statements, and they convert all of that over to a business type set of financial statements for your general fund. And they take all your leases and they capitalize them and put them on the balance sheet, and they put a corresponding debt amount. So if somebody does a valuation report on all of that, and they stick them on there, and I'm not sure how much value that provides, but you got to go capture every single lease in the county, which is very complicated and very voluminous. And I'm not sure the value. So that was my real point. It's not that it's not important, but you don't use it in your day-to-day management of the finances of the county. That was my point. When you're managing the budget, you never think about that. But it is something that's required, and I got to tell you about it. I'm happy to answer any questions you got of me tonight or anytime. If you take the reports home and you read it on that cold, rainy night, wait till the next morning and give me a call. If I happen not to be in the office, ask for my cell number, and I'll get you an answer to your question.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have questions? Mr. Thompson? You did such a great job explaining that.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a great night.
All right, we need a motion to approve the financial audit as presented.
I make a motion, we approve the financial audit as presented.
First by Commissioner Shudo, second by Commissioner Crump. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. National Apprenticeship Week Resolution. Ms. Candace Louder. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. It's good to be before you this evening. Stanley Community College, along with its partners, we're gaining a lot of momentum on expanding apprenticeship here in Stanley County. November 17th through the 23rd is National Apprenticeship Week, And enclosed in your packet should be a resolution that we're requesting that you adopt to declare this week National Apprenticeship Week in Stanley County.
Any questions of Candace? Is that all you need?
I'd like you to adopt the resolution.
I make a motion, we approve the wonderful resolution that Candace has presented to us.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Shudo. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Hatley. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Good job, Candace.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, could I just ask one question?
Sure.
So was just curious, is this apprenticeships for our high school students or for current community college students?
That's a great question. Apprenticeship can be for anyone. We are actively engaged with the school system to develop a more robust pre-apprenticeship program that will pipe those students and workers into a formal apprenticeship. I do have a short list for you if you are interested. We currently have active apprenticeships in our county, early childhood educators, machinists, electrician, line workers, paramedics, automotive, and we've recently added nursing, LPN, CNA, and RN to our program. In the works, these are both apprenticeships and potential pre-apprenticeship opportunities for students. Plumbing, surveyor, elementary school teacher, agribusiness, biomedical equipment, engineering, and IT. So we're working really hard to engage with employers. I would like to invite the public to, if they're interested in learning about apprenticeship, we have an employer engagement event on November 20th, so that's smack dab in the middle of National Apprenticeship Week. It'll be at the Small Business Center at noon. We're in partnership with several of our workforce development partners, including the Economic Development Commission, NC Work, Stanley County Schools, and the Chamber of Commerce. We'll speak briefly about our workforce ecosystem and then take a deeper look at how apprenticeships can help employers solve their talent needs. So we're really looking forward to it, and then we hope to have more events like that moving forward.
Can you send us that information?
Sure.
Okay.
You had degree programs for all those?
For all those that are listed, yes.
Thank you, Candace.
Thank you.
Item number 4 is authorizing a resolution for the North Carolina Commercial Building Reuse Grant. And we have our EDC Director, Elizabeth Underwood. I couldn't see you back there. I kept looking. Is she here?
I'm here, sorry, and you probably can't see me over the podium either. But good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I'm happy to be here and to talk with you today about Project Pliable. Project Pliable is requesting your support to apply for a building reuse grant from the Rural Infrastructure Authority. If that funding is received, the company is expected to make an estimated investment of $4.8 million to expand its operations and create an additional 10 jobs in Stanley County. The local match for the submittal of this project requested is $6,000, which is well within the scope of the EDC's budget. This expansion will allow the company to add machinery that will times its current operations by 3 within 5 years. And my request to you today is to authorize the approval of a resolution to support the submittal of Project Pliable. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Did a good job presenting.
Well, thank you very much.
No questions. Yeah. Okay. We need to review and adopt the resolution. I believe everyone's had plenty of opportunity to review it. So what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we adopt the resolution for Project Pliable Building Reuse Project.
Okay.
I second that.
First by Commissioner Eford, second by Commissioner Shudo. Any other discussion before we vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Mr. Clinton Swearingen again, and He brought along his sidekick, Charlie. Welcome, Charlie.
Thank you, Chairman Lawhon. This is the third straight meeting I've been at, so I'm happy to be here to ask for the order of adoption for the 2025 schedule of values. So both of those schedules, the market value and the present use value schedule, were presented to this board on October 7th, and then a public hearing was held 2 weeks ago on October 21st. And so today I'm here to ask for the adoption of both of these schedules to happen. General Statute 105-317 requires the order of adoption to be published in the local newspaper for 4 consecutive weeks, so pending adoption tonight, that will begin on November 9th and run through November the 30th. And per our adoption timeline, that would give somebody until December the 9th to appeal those schedules to the Property Tax Commission in Raleigh if they so chose. So I would kindly ask the board to approve both the market value schedule of values and the present use value schedule of values. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Swearingen? Don't have any. What's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion, we approve the approval of the 2025 market value schedule of values and of the 2025 present use value schedule of values.
I have a first by Commissioner Shuto, a second by Commissioner King. Any questions of Clinton while he's here? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion, both items approved.
Thank you, board.
7-0. Thank you. Appreciate what y'all do. Consent agenda. Everybody's had the opportunity to review the consent agenda. Seek a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Do we have a second? Second. Commissioner Shuto and Commissioner Hatley second. Any discussion before we vote? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Which brings us to closing comments, and I'm going to start with Commissioner Shuto.
Yeah, I just want to say if you get a chance, go down to the Albemarle Neighborhood Theater and watch a performance of Four Old Broads. That show is just flat out hilarious. You just hear laughter throughout the whole thing. So what's nice about that venue compared to the Civic Center is great for the bigger ones, but it's something they could use these small casts and do these smaller shows there. And they're going to have their big shows coming up. I forget what it's going to be in the next summer. But anyway, if you get a chance, go down and see Four Old Broads at the Albemarle Neighborhood Theater.
Okay, Commissioner King?
No comment.
Commissioner Eford?
Just one quick one, sir. As Patty had mentioned earlier, tomorrow is voting day. Get out and vote. As important as it is, Monday is Veterans Day. And a lot of those folks fought in wars and served, so you would have that right and privilege to go vote. So I encourage everyone to do it. And again, Monday, there's a parade in Oakboro, Veterans Day Parade. Starts at 11 o'clock, so come on out for that. And if you know a veteran, tell them thank you. Thank you for their service. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Vice Chairman Barbie.
Just ditto everything. Make sure, don't take anything for granted. Just get out there and vote. Thank you.
Commissioner Hatley. Commissioner Crump.
No comment.
Okay, and I have no comment. So I will seek a motion to adjourn.
What move, Mr. Chairman?
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Adjourned.